mind-blowing thought experiments that challenge your understanding of God's existence. Thought experiment 1. The infinite library. Imagine a library so vast, it contains every possible book that could ever exist. Every story, every possibility, every version of history, real and fictional, lies within its shelves. Somewhere, there's a book that describes your exact life, word for word. And right next to it, a book where one tiny detail is different. The experiment. Picture yourself wandering through this infinite library. You pick up books at random, each one representing a different universe, a different reality. Some books describe worlds where everything is chaotic and meaningless, while others follow intricate patterns and order. Now, here's the question. If such a library existed, does it suggest a grand design or is it proof of randomness? If infinite possibilities exist, how do we define what is real? Could an all-knowing entity be the librarian who understands every possible path that reality can take? Analysis. This thought experiment forces us to consider the nature of existence itself. If every possible reality is out there, does it make sense to say our reality is guided by a higher intelligence? Or is it simply one of infinite random outcomes? Some argue that the vastness of possibility itself suggests the need for a guiding force, something or someone that defines what is meaningful amid infinite chaos. Others say this very infinity negates the need for a creator. Thought experiment number 2. The simulation. God. Imagine waking up one day and discovering that your entire life has been a simulation. Everything you've ever known, the sky, the people, around you, your own thoughts, were all part of a complex computer program. But here's the twist. The one who created the simulation is an entity beyond anything you could comprehend. The experiment. Suppose humanity in the future creates ultra-advanced simulations indistinguishable from reality. The beings in those simulations would never know they were artificial unless the Creator revealed it to them. Now ask yourself, if it's possible for us to create such a world, what stops us from considering that our reality is already a simulation? If we are in a simulation, then does that mean the one who programmed it is our God? Analysis. This leads to profound questions. If a being creates a world and controls its laws, does that being qualify as God? If our universe follows mathematical precision, does that suggest a programmer? Some argue that this aligns with the idea of a divine creator, while others claim it removes the need for a traditional God, replacing it with an advanced civilization beyond our understanding. But if they exist, who created them? Thought experiment number 3. The unseeable architect. Imagine walking into a perfect city, a place where everything works flawlessly. Every street is designed for efficiency, every building serves its purpose, and every detail seems intelligently crafted. But you never see the architect. Now, here's the challenge. If everything is designed so perfectly, do you really need to see the Creator to believe they exist? The experiment. Scientists often describe the universe as being fine-tuned for life, from the precise laws of physics to the delicate balance that allows life to exist. The universe seems structured in an incredibly specific way. But is this fine-tuning proof of an intelligent designer, or just an illusion created by chance? Analysis. If you were in a perfect city, would you insist that it must have come together by pure luck? Or would you assume that an architect, even if unseen, must have designed it? The same logic applies to the universe. If the conditions for life are so precise, does that suggest a grand designer? Or is it just the result of an infinite number of failed attempts where one finally worked? Thought Experiment 4. The Library of Infinite Stories. Imagine stepping into an infinite library, a place where every possible sequence of words exists in boundless volumes. Some books contain coherent, beautifully written stories, while others are incomprehensible jumbles of letters. Among these books you discover something extraordinary, detailed biographies of every person who has ever lived, including yourself. As you turn the pages, you see an eerily accurate account of your past, your present, and even your future. Faced with such an astonishing reality, questions arise. Could such a library exist purely by chance, or does its existence imply an intelligent architect? If every conceivable combination of words is represented somewhere within this collection, does that mean meaning and consciousness are mere statistical inevitabilities? This thought experiment challenges us to consider whether order and meaning require a designer, or if, given infinite possibilities, complexity can naturally emerge from chaos. But what if the library contained not just books, but entire simulated realities, each with beings who believe they are real? Would these worlds be the product of an intelligent creator, or the inevitable byproduct of mathematical possibility? If such a library could exist, does that mean our universe is simply one among an infinite number, emerging from probability, alone? These questions push us to reconsider the origins of existence and the role, if any, of intelligence in shaping reality. Thought Experiment 5. The Silent Cathedral. Envision an enormous cathedral, vast and dark, its halls stretching into infinity. You are told that within its depths resides an all-powerful deity, yet no one has ever directly seen or heard from it. Every generation people enter, searching for signs of its presence. Some emerge, claiming to have heard whispers or glimpsed radiant light, while others leave in silence, uncertain if they encountered anything at all. This scenario mirrors a classic theological debate. If a deity remains unseen and unheard, at what point do we conclude that it does not exist? Does belief persist simply because people desire it to be true? Or does the absence of evidence serve as evidence of absence? Skeptics argue that if something is supposed to interact with the world yet remains silent, belief becomes unjustified. On the other hand, many maintain that lack of direct experience does not equate to non-existence. After all, countless unseen forces shape our reality. Further complicating matters, what if different seekers report entirely different experiences? Inside the cathedral, some claim to hear a single voice while others describe radically different messages. Does this suggest divine reality is subjective, or is it more likely that these experiences stem from human psychology rather than external truth? Could the cathedral be silent because there is nothing there at all? This experiment compels us to question the nature of faith and the threshold for justified belief. Thought Experiment 6. The Cosmic Video Game. Suppose you awaken inside an advanced video game, your memories erased. The world around you is intricate, governed by consistent physical laws seemingly designed with precision. As you explore, you encounter other characters who debate the game's origins. Some insist it has an unseen creator, a developer who meticulously designed every element. Others argue that the game's systems sustain themselves following rules that do not necessitate ongoing intervention. If you could never exit the game to verify its origins, how would you determine whether it was designed or merely self-emergent? This parallels the fine-tuning argument for God's existence. Does the complexity of the universe suggest a creator, or can order arise naturally through chance and necessity? Now imagine you gain the ability to examine the game's code and discover that it evolved through a process of random changes and selection, rather than being authored by a single intelligence. Does this revelation undermine the idea of a conscious designer, or does the existence of such structured code itself imply an ultimate programmer? This thought experiment challenges our assumptions about creation, intelligence, and the origins of structured reality. Thought Experiment 7. The Orphaned Universe. Imagine an intelligent species living inside a vast simulation, originally designed by powerful beings who have since vanished. Over time, the inhabitants find compelling evidence suggesting their world was built by an external intelligence. However, their creators are long gone, leaving them to navigate existence alone. Does their reality still have meaning if their creators are absent or indifferent? If a deity once existed but no longer engages with the world, is that different from a deity never having existed at all? This experiment raises fundamental questions about the nature of faith. Do we seek a God who merely created the universe, or do we yearn for one who remains actively involved? Further, what if these beings, in their quest for meaning, decide to create their own simulated realities? If each generation of conscious beings births new worlds, does divinity emerge from within the process, rather than from an external source? The orphaned universe forces us to reconsider the nature of godhood and the role of creation in shaping purpose. Thought Experiment 8. The Perfect Mirror. Imagine a mirror so advanced that it reflects not just your physical appearance but the deepest truths of your soul. If you are compassionate and kind, the mirror radiates warmth. If you are selfish or cruel, the reflection turns cold and distant. Over time, society comes to rely on this mirror as the ultimate measure of moral worth. But one day, a philosopher raises an unsettling question. What if the mirror's response is not divine but simply an advanced form of psychological analysis? If morality and spirituality can be quantified without invoking God, does that mean ethics are purely human constructs? Or does the existence of moral law itself suggest a higher power? This thought experiment challenges us to consider whether morality is intrinsic to the universe or a byproduct of human cognition. The final question. If you could ask God one question, knowing you would receive a truthful answer, what would it be? And more importantly, what answer would truly satisfy you? Conclusion. The existence of God has been one of humanity's most profound and persistent questions. Philosophers, scientists, and theologians have long debated the evidence for and against divine existence. Rather than providing definitive answers, these thought experiments offer intellectual tools to explore belief, skepticism, and the unknown. Through these scenarios, we are encouraged to think critically and deeply about the nature of reality. Whether one leans toward faith, doubt, or something in between, the key is to remain engaged in questioning, exploration, and the pursuit of understanding. Ultimately, the mystery of existence remains vast, and our search for meaning is a journey without end.